That's
who's alive and kicking that in any modern sense is a former Rolex authorized dealer?
Any big chains get out of it?
I'm telling you probably won't be able to think of me.
Okay.
Those people that guard the Vatican in Switzerland, their other purpose is to take out the former Rolex retailers.
Oh, there's a conspiracy.
That's a very fanciful outfit who's come to take you out.
Right. How is everybody? Not seen you for ages, guys. How's David? Where's
How
David?
are you? I mean, how many weeks did we have to endure without our fearless host and leader?
I mean, I'm sure it was a delight. I'm sure there were as many watches talked about in the last 3 shows that I wasn't on as there probably has been for the entirety of 2026. So, there was probably a greater degree of focus when I wasn't here and less jumping around and less mention of food and haggis and things that look like things. There was certainly no guess the price of the Seiko, but I'm sure that's actually because Seiko haven't released anything good that's worthy of coverage in the last 3 weeks.
We talked about Seiko, though.
Did you talk about Seiko? Good.
Well, I saw a bunch of them in Japan, and we talked a bit about that. Of course, you were in
Japan. Yes. How was Japan?
It's a lot of pretty Seikos.
A lot of pretty Seikos.
A lot of pretty Seikos.
Anything else pretty? Casios or Citizens? Just Seikos?
Yeah, Japan's pretty. It's got a bunch of pretty stuff. You think the only pretty thing I saw were Seikos? That would be really funny, right?
All right, that would be funny.
I have to say, what I did say in the other show, and I'll repeat again, is that when I went to Japan, it was really great how much better represented the watch areas were with Japanese watches, which is not always the case. There was like this mix. There was like, oh, you want to buy Japanese watches? You probably don't want to buy European watches. But that's changed now because there's sort of a lot of a blend. And I think what's also really important is that Seiko and Grand Seiko, because it's all kind of connected, and Corridor had what you might call the prettiest of the watches. There's definitely a lot of Citizens and Casios, but the Casios felt kind of high tech and, very Casio-ish. The Citizens had, I don't know, kind of a blend. Yes, we're analog, but eco drive and a lot of technology and kind of a modern twist. But when it came to like pretty, elegant, dressy stuff, honestly, really Seiko won in that regard. And Seiko were the more expensive. It was very obvious that, yes, outside of some of the special, Casio G-Shock MRGs and some of the Citizen, which you saw in some special places, especially Isetan. Maybe I'm saying that not correctly, but that's the Isetan is the really great chain of department stores, and that's like the prestigious one. And they have the full collection of Citizen, everything from
right.
all the way to the top. But Seiko kind of won the fight of prettiness. And I think it's interesting because on the West, we have a particular view of the competitiveness of the Japanese brands in the United States. It's actually quite interesting to go there and to see how the competitiveness is happening there. And also that a lot of people are traveling to Japan to buy not just discount watches, but, of course, Japanese watches. And so how they display them on the pre-owned side, that's also quite interesting. So quite the education. And honestly, as I said last time, really great trip if you're a watch lover to go to Japan these days in Tokyo.
And what color is Mount Iwate?
Not all the colors the people at Seiko think it is. There's
have they missed one? Was there a color you saw of Mount Iwate while you were there and they haven't done yet?
Look, I have to say, when I haven't been to a place that has a lot of Seiko displays in a while, and it's like a freaking rainbow. It's like, whoa. So when you see it all there, it's like all the covers of, Mount whatever. And you could tell that the differences between the watches are slight. There's not too much they can do but change things like the case diameter and how the dial is scratched up, right? and I guess a slight hint of color, but it's a lot of the same stuff. So bless them for doing all this. But if you're choosing your first Seiko or Grand Seiko, good luck to you.
Well, Ripley, how's your 3 weeks been? Quiet, peaceful? Miss me?
Yeah, of course we miss you. I severely thought about maybe I should develop a Scottish accent.
You didn't need to consider ending it all just for me. That was okay.
Well, I thought I might
Scottish
have to
accent. Okay, that's acceptable.
Yeah. I might have to start farming things so I could bring that here. Tractor knowledge has been lacking.
Okay. Give us your best Scottish accent.
Greetings and welcome.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Greetings is close. That's cool.
Yes, that's close. That's close. That's close. I like that. Well done. Well done. I appreciate the thought. So good stuff. Right. Let's talk about some stuff. Ariel, I don't know to the extent to which when you messaged me about this, you then went on to speak about it anyway, but you wanted to have a quick chat about Rolex and their investment in certain property locations, I believe. And or are you not remembering this conversation at all? You're looking blankly already.
I am. Oh, I got to get myself in. This is one of those deep, heavy ones, the controversial topics.
Right. So let's focus ourselves. Let's center ourselves. And we will start talking about Rolex. So, what is your conspiracy? This is Conspiracy Theory Corner, brought to you by Ariel. What's your conspiracy theory this week for Rolex?
In the technical sense, I do think there's a bit of an organized, nefarious plan. So, yeah, there's a bit of a conspiracy. Okay, so obviously, I look at how the watch industry decides to spend its money. And one of the things I noticed was this weird irony that over the pandemic, especially, despite the fact that not a lot of people are going to stores, there seem to be more and more brands sending announcements. We're opening a store, or alternatively, we remodeled a store that we had, right? Or we just moved a store. So they didn't just necessarily open up a new one, but they just pumped a ton of money into a brand new space. And I kept thinking to myself, given all that's going on, why is this where they're putting their money? What exactly is going on here? And when you look into it deeper, you recognize this isn't actually the watch brand spending the money. Usually, in most instances, these are stores that we'll think of them as joint ventures or cooperations. From a technical perspective in contracts, I'm not exactly sure how the parties identify themselves, but a watch brand has an agreement with a local business entity, usually a watch retailer, to open up a new location. Used to be these shop and shops. They're not okay with this anymore. They want their own location. That's a mono brand boutique for the brand, sort of owned and operated by the retailer, but with a lot of contractual strings to the brand and not the ability to make all the decisions. And in particular, Rolex has built this into part of their business model, right? So you have these entities all over the world, thousands of them, who are independent businesses, and they're the Rolex authorized dealers. And at first it seems, okay, that's, that makes sense. And we talked over the years about why Rolex does this. Why does Rolex not have their own stores? They essentially do this as risk mitigation. Why spend their own money to make all these watches when they can take other people's money to invest in the production runs, and then those people are the ones that have to go and put the effort into selling it? Like Rolex makes their money anyways, and someone else gets to pay for it. What a good deal. Rolex has taken that relationship over the years and made it more and more restrictive, meaning for the privilege of being able to sell Rolex watches, you have less and less control, authority. Basically, Rolex calls the shots. And Rolex has, in many instances, said to these retailers, I don't like the store. You got to put in a few $1,000,000 and make it nicer, or get another store. Or, we're thinking about going with another partner unless maybe you build another store down across town. So what Rolex has done, is, at least in the United States, is put what appears to be enormous pressure on retailers to spend huge sums of money. Retailers are not allowed to do or say anything. Rolex retailers are the quietest bunch of people, the most fear-stricken bunch of people around. They are constantly worried that Rolex is going to call them and penalize them for some type of action, some type of nasty letter they're going to get. Just something. No one's excited about hearing from Rolex. Yet they abide by this because ostensibly it's a safe way of making money, and maybe Rolex lets them increase a few percentage points each year. But they're really kind of Rolex's business slave. And Rolex loves the idea of having an upgraded look. These real estate points are really a physical element of the brand marketing. So Rolex is basically just trying to tighten the screws and being like, we want maximal value. You guys love us so much. You can make all this money off of us. We're going to make you do all this. We're going to make you jump through all these hoops. Remodel stores, open new ones. All of it to Rolex's benefit, but Rolex doesn't have to spend much or anything, just has to make a lot of demand. So the combination, by seeing all these Rolex store openings, especially the remodels, how the retailers that carry them have become quieter and quieter and stranger over the years in terms of just even how they are in social settings, to how Rolex, you can imagine they've obviously taken the last couple of years to their advantage. I don't quite know where it's all going, what they're trying to do with it. I think Rolex just thinks that they're, again, doing the normal thing they do, which is use other people's money to strengthen their brand image. I think it's taken a whole generation of retailers and put them in quite a precarious position where they could have otherwise helped grow the communities. But they've become kind of like Rolex brain slugs. They do exactly what Rolex wants, promoting Rolex, not promoting watches in their area, not promoting their own names, spending huge amounts of money. It's, again, I'm not trying to come to specific conclusions yet. I'm just trying to sort of illustrate what I've noticed and what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, there was a time maybe 10 years ago when, Rolex was asking, certainly in the UK, various ADs to, make larger spaces for the Rolex display. But you had to use the Rolex shop fitters to do it. There was a list of parties that had to be used. So I'm convinced that somewhere within the Wilsdorf Foundation, you'll find that they own a global network of shop fitters.
No, they already do. They're not close about this. We've already talked about this.
Is that right? So,
oh yeah, essentially Rolex furniture department. It's a huge.
They design all the knickknacks and furniture that go in there. So when you see the little thing on the bookcase, that Rolex does. It's in house. Yes. What's their saying for it's all we do, but we do it all, or something like that? Yeah, and there you go.
And then bear in mind, Rolex own a newspaper, so you never see anything. Le Temps, which is very often gets lots of reports from Rolex, is owned by a foundation that's owned by a foundation that's owned by the foundation that owns Rolex.
It's the Geneva paper, if it's the one you're talking about. They actually kind of bought it to save it. They did not buy it to control it. They bought it because it was going to go out of business.
Have you been drinking the Rolex juice? Of course they bought it to. They might have bought it to save it, but you don't think that they go, was it not?
It's just a Geneva paper. What are they going to do? Convince their hometown they're even more important?
I'm sure there was a report that came out that I want to say that Ms. Tweed reported on. And it was a clear kind of, the reason that this is appearing in this newspaper is because of the ownership. Somebody will maybe remember what the situation was and like it. But if you are a Rolex AD and you feel that you need a confidential place to vent, then send us in. Just email podcast@ablogtowatch.com or go to at TikTok and Instagram. Just DM me. We'll
check
be
your
like
spam folder.
Yeah, we'll be like an agony, a confidential agony, and we can just share your frustrations for the world. A bit like a primal scream. You can just share your one-line frustration with us, and we will shout out to the world, and we will not identify you or blackmail you into getting us to the top of any list because you accidentally fall for this subtle trick. But anyway, yes, so we would love to hear. I'd love to hear from Rolex, or if maybe you used to be a Rolex AD, you're not now, and you're quite happy to completely and utterly burn that bridge, then come and speak to us.
I think you could sound like a little bit more inviting, just a teeny bit.
A teeny bit more inviting.
You kind of sound like you're like rubbing your hands together, like, yes, fall for my trap. No, we would like to confidentially know, because we're curious individuals who do not want you to suffer the Rolex curse, No,
the Rolex curse. I mean, it has always struck me that Rolex must be one, other than the secrets about the moon landing and flat Earth, Rolex must be one of the best organizations at keeping secrets. They're really remarkable that for something that really doesn't matter, like what is happening next to Rolex, that they just don't leak in comparison to the way you would think that they would, with the amount of attention that they get, with the amount of focus that they get.
It's Putin's Russia. It's just run through fear. You know, that's really what it is.
Wait a minute. I was the one not being inviting. You're now comparing them.
I'm not asking people to say anything.
I escalated.
People know what happens if you
People
cross.
Know what happens.
If you're doing business with Rolex and you cross them, they'll just stop doing business with you. That's the ultimate fear of missing out. It literally is.
Is there Gulag and Vallée de Joux that we don't know, but it appears on like satellite images or something?
It's the shame of being a former Rolex authorized dealer. They hide into the cracks. You never see them again. If you're a former Rolex authorized dealer, you are persona non grata. I mean, you self-imposed exile.
Okay. Right. Well, I genuinely would love to hear from.
Can you name any? I'm telling you, they're like written out of history.
I mean, the ones I can think of all went bust shortly after or sold up and got out of the game.
Exactly.
So yeah,
who's alive and kicking that in any modern sense is a former Rolex authorized dealer?
Did any big chains get out of it? And
I'm telling you probably won't be able to think of me.
Okay.
Those people that guard the Vatican in Switzerland, their other purpose is to take out the former Rolex retailers.
Oh, there's a conspiracy.
That's a very fanciful outfit who's come to take you out. John
Pomp and circumstance, come on. Presentation.
Why is there a clown with a spear walking down the high street of Glasgow?
The green helicopters show up and
those guys have another outfit as the Rolex guard. You know that.
green and gold.
Yeah, same robes, just different colors.
Oh, that's a picture we're getting AI to generate, the Swiss Guard and Rolex colours. Yeah, leave that with me. That'll do for the show notes.
Thank you very much.
Rolex colours, Swiss Guard. Good. Right, well, we haven't played Hit Miss Maybe for a while. I'm going to share the screen.
I still have the cards.
Still got them. Good, get your cards. David's maybe not got his. We're going to choose. We're not going to play it straight away. We're going to choose the watches first of all. So which of the recent releases... I think you haven't spoken about Armand Nicolet that's at the bottom of the screen onwards. So let's select 3 watches for later in the show for Hit Miss Maybe. What would you like?
The unimpressive Oris.
The unimpressive Oris. So Oris for Hit Miss Maybe, that's fine.
We're going to get a phone call.
Yeah, another one. I'm telling you, Oris, if you just invite me to your skiing holidays, I'll stop. Right. What else? We've got the Chopard, the Armand Nicolet, the Ferdinand Berthoud, the Zurich. What would you like to add? The Norcane. They don't speak to me either. Oh, that's a sponsored post. I've already paid us. Let's leave them alone.
Let's add the Chopard for one.
What would you like to go for as another Hit Miss Maybe candidate, David?
I think we could go for the Chopard. Why not?
The Chopard, yes. The Chopard looks good. And finally, Ripley, do you want to choose one for Hit Miss Maybe?
Rick, you choose one. You've been missing.
Oh, well,
what strikes your fancy?
You're all fresh and rested.
I think we choose the Henri Grandjean Ainsi Magician that you have written about, which means that we can, before we play the brand Wheel of Death, we will talk about the Ferdinand Berthoud as reviewed by Ariel. Ariel, tell us about this Ferdinand Berthoud. I do like a good Ferdinand Berthoud. And yeah.
So this is not a watch that they currently sell. This is a limited edition from like 2 years ago.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's been a little while since I've written this, but basically they said that they will make some small amount, like 37 or 39, some small number of the total movements that went into this watch. Okay. But they won't necessarily use the same case or dial. So there's like a round case. There's a few different case materials. Right. This is in their version of the ceramitized titanium, which I think is cool because I like the lightweight nature, but also the ceramic texture. This movement, again, only tells the time, but is about isochronism. So it's got various types of constant force mechanisms, including a 1 second remontoire, which means that it ticks each second, which I just happen to like because it's like so precise and looks nice. It's got the fusée and chain transmission, which I think Ferdinand Berthoud does particularly well. It's very visible. yes, it has a power reserve indicator, but again, it just sort of indicates the time in this highly over-engineered, really nicely designed way. I'm not really a fan of skeletonized dials for the most part, but I make an exception here because it's just they're so nicely polished and things like that. This octagonal case, I remember when it first came out, David and I totally agreed that it would take several years for people to be into this. I liked it at first, but I realized people are going to be like, oh, let's do the round one. And to their credit, Ferdinand Berthoud understood this and made a round case as well. But I think that these octagonal cases just really kind of fit the theme of the brand well. And this sort of modern take on this retro, futuristic kind of design, it's just really the type of thing I like. So, very expensive. The price is there. You'll read it. It would be a lot more if it was an Audemars Piguet or Breguet. And so for the money, it's kind of in this weird place because it like doesn't have the prestige of more popular brands, but it's actually a better price than what you could get with those other ones. I mean, if this was a Louis Vuitton, we know it'd be like, I don't know, $800,000 or something like that. So I like this stuff, This brand is like in its pre-current FP Journe days, when everyone knows about the brand goes crazy. At some point, Ferdinand Berthoud will have that, but it's not yet. And, if you're that really wealthy collector, but who doesn't like the hype watches, and they're those guys that are out there. I don't know. This should probably be on your radar. I know a few people have gotten these, have been quite happy with them. Yeah,
I'll bet. Yeah, I think if money was no object and knowledge of the watch to the general public was no object or no part of your purchase decision, I think I'd buy a Ferdinand Berthoud if I could. Would Ferdinand Berthoud be the top of David or Ripley's list? Maybe not this one, but as a brand in any way, shape or form?
What's the USB-C port on the side of it?
Hey, let's have a look. Is it? Oh, have we got a Nubo?
It's a window to see.
Oh, that's the window to see the chain. Yes, that's like they had a maritime chronometer type one that had that on the side as well, which was very nice.
I do appreciate that. If you're gonna have that whole little chain wrapped in there, yeah, go ahead and showcase it. I like that feature a lot.
I think they need to make one of the links in the chain a different color. Like if one of the links was red,
just make it
rust. So you saw or let it rust. What is the water resistance of this watch? I just sort of let it pass by, so you could appreciate that it was doing something. And that would be cool.
But you're so picky. You're like, I need a mismatched color. That's what'll make it for me.
Exactly. I'm not buying this Ferdinand Berthoud because you missed a trick. It's also an interesting Ferdinand Berthoud because it's actually approaching legibility in terms of the handset, because very often they're beautiful objects, but I'm not actually sure how quickly you could I mean, the reality is if you slid your cuff back to look at this, you'd probably spend 5 minutes just staring at amazement on it. It wouldn't actually matter that you couldn't read the time. But they're not necessarily the easiest watches to read the time on. But this is actually, the handset on this is really rather nice. So would this be your go-to Ferdinand Berthoud, Ariel?
I mean, I don't know what they'll come up with in the future, but for right now, yeah, this is pretty up there. But if you gave me one with a gold case, I wouldn't say no. I mean, come on.
No one's saying. Is anyone saying no? There's a question. Is anyone saying no to a Ferdinand Berthoud? Probably not. Right. Well,
there's that one guy.
There's the one guy because the chain's not got a bit of bling on it. Right. Let's do our brand Wheel of Death. We haven't done this for a few weeks. Here we go. So this is where we kill a brand, where we keep a brand, and where we wipe a brand out of all existence. The idea being is somebody gets to stay, somebody gets to be forgotten about, like as if they never existed, Thanos out of existence, and someone gets to be killed. But it means that somebody could bring them back again in the future. Like, you really just wish they took a break for 50 years to then be brought back. So this is our brand Wheel of Death. So let's spin and see who we've got this week. I really need some music for this. We need a theme tune. If anyone would like to write as a theme tune. We haven't had the WhatsApp theme tune for a while.
I can't wait for us to have 5 brands left, or maybe 4.
Okay,
and then, 3 or whatever.
Tissot.
Okay.
Tissot. Tissot is on the list. I thought we had Tissot before. Have I?
I think we did too, and we had to keep them because they are PRXs are moving numbers.
Oh no, it's right. So that's what the problem will be. So let's remove Tissot. So I can remove Tissot. It's clear it was the first week we did it when we didn't understand. And when I say we, I mean me, didn't understand how you remove people from the list. So that is my fault.
I don't think we have to remove. I think it's perfectly fine because the competition will be tougher and tougher. So, sooner or later, we're just moving through the whole thing.
So we're looking for, are we formally making a rule change here that is actually, although we're keeping brands, what we're doing is we're putting them back in the bucket to possibly be eliminated at a later date. Are we agreeing that rule change? Yeah. Okay, right. We've agreed that rule change. So Tissot
I don't know why we're doing this at all.
Because it's fun.
Tissot is back on the agenda then. So Tissot has been chucked back into the brand wheel of death. So first up, Tissot. Then we have... We'll be looking for you to make your reasoning. We have, is that Tudor? Is it going to be Tudor? Tudor.
Ooh.
Tudor, tasty. And then finally, of our brand wheel of death this week, we have, is it going to be Debethune? No, what's it? Chapek, maybe? Chapek. Okay, so which of these brands are you going to keep? Which are you going to kill? And which are you going to completely wipe out of all historical existence? Discuss.
So which one is it?
Chapek's already been resurrected, sort of. So I feel it doesn't deserve a place in being kept.
I mean, if you eliminated them, someone would still make the Antarctic. You know, enough companies have made something that looks. Yeah, you could still get the 12.
I mean, maybe this whole exercise just results in Christopher Ward being the one brand left. It'll come down to between Christopher Ward and Rolex. Christopher Ward, who make a fairly cheap version of everything that everybody else makes, and Rolex, who are the biggest. That's all we need. We just need those two brands. That's it. So Chapek, any takers for Chapek being kept over Tudor or Tissot?
They're in a
Ariel?
tough bracket on this one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So I'm thinking Chapek, we wipe out of it. We Thanos Chapek.
Wait, do I vote on which of these I want gone? Is that how it works? Surely you've learned by now there are no rules here, Ariel. You just chip in as appropriate. Give us your my
thinking.
brain doesn't process that. It's like a game with no rules. It's like broken.
Let's make some rules for that. Ariel, you need to select which one of these you think should never exist again. Between
like Tudor, ever? I kept hearing resurrection. It's like
no. You get to kill one. And that then could be I'm going to get a card each week or an intro that explains the rules. Although we do change them every week, so that's fine.
So Tudor.
So what are you doing with Tudor? Keeping, killing, done. Never to exist again, to be forgotten about for all of history.
You're forcing me to choose.
Yeah, that's fine. Tudor gets a vote. So David, to wipe from existence, kill, keep. What's your thinking?
Chapek, I guess.
Chapek to wipe out of existence. So Chapek gets 2 votes to wipe out of existence. I think I agree with that. So far, that's gone. We've got Tissot and Tudor. We've got to choose to keep one and kill one now. So killing it means it could come back. I think Tudor having a rest for 50 years would be okay.
Yeah, they've got the Rolex money when they come back, so they will be funded. But to go marinate for a while, come up with some new direction in designs, and I think they could benefit from like a little bit of a reset and come out with wait for some new tech to develop and then make some new watches. Tissot needs to keep the Swatch Corp afloat right now. It's the PRX.
That's important. It needs to exist for other reasons.
So other watches can exist from these other brands. We need the Tissot to keep pumping out PRXs.
Okay, does everybody broadly agree with that strategy? Any disagreement of we keep Tissot as it is and we put Tudor in a cupboard, we kill it and put it in a cupboard for 50 years awaiting its resurrection? with I mean, it'll just come back with exactly the same thing, though, won't it? I mean, it'll just be a black bay.
Tudor needs some new momentum. And
it'll be the 50th anniversary of the death of the black bay in 50 years' time. It'll just be black bay GMT two-tone in whatever colours Rolex happened to be not doing that yet. Ariel, was that you putting your hand up or moving your microphone boom stand, Ariel?
Yeah, don't mind me.
Don't mind. Ariel's out of... Actually, there we go. Maybe we change this. Out of David, Ripley and Ariel, which one do we kill, which one do we keep, and which one do we put entirely out of existence?
That fast, huh?
we went there quickly. Right, so that's it. Decision. We're keeping Tissot because the PRX is needed by the world. We're killing Tudor, awaiting its resurrection 50 years or so, probably with another black bay.
Well, Tudor likes a good reissue, so look at all of the black bays they'll be able to reissue after the hiatus.
Exactly. I mean, the reality is you put them in a cupboard for 50 years, they're going to do exactly the same thing 50 years from now if they exist, as they would do 50 years from now if they were dead, which is release a 50th anniversary of a black bay 50 years. So yeah, it's the same thing. Nothing would actually change. It's just we get peace and quiet for
the question is,
years.
In under those 50 years, how many times have they discontinued and then reintroduced the same model? You know? Oh, we're dropping this. Oh, it's a tribute to that. Do you remember? Oh, we're dropping this. Oh, it's a tribute to that. Do you remember? I think we would see like 3 cycles of those for any given product. No problem.
That's the motto of the House of Cartier.
One day we'll get to decide with Cartier. So we have removed from the brand Wheel of Death. We will remove. Let's just see if I can see that. So we're keeping. We want to remove Chapek. So where's Chapek? There we go. There's Chapek. So Chapek are officially in the dustbin. They're gone. No more. Tudor and Tissot go back in the... It just means this is going to take 3 times as long, you understand? But there we go. It'll be entertaining. Ariel will eventually get the rules once we've actually decided what they are. Right. Well, again, we do know how to play is hit, miss, maybe. We have selected our hit, miss, maybe pieces. So let's get on with that. We will do... just because we love them so much, we will do Oris first. At least it's not got bits of a dead horse on it. Although it may be flogging one.
Why am I the only one that has no problem with that? It's like the Oris I have the least issue with.
Okay, so this is the Oris Pro Pilot Date Watch, a crowd-pleasing addition to the Pro Pilot collection. Do we agree? I think it's quite a pretty watch, actually. I'm not sure what size it is. It looks tiny. Unless that looks like Sean. Is that Sean's wrists? Whose wrist is that?
Mike's
wrist.
Mike's
wrist.
Yeah.
It's not that tiny.
Is it not? Is Mike huge, is he? So Mike got monster wrists. It does look quite petite. Let's just see what size it is. It is. No, it still measures 41 mil. Mike's obviously
petite. Since when is a 41 watch petite?
Yeah, it doesn't look like 41. Mike must be a monster. He wears this like it's a 36 mil OP of some description.
I'm intrigued by these hands.
American
on the watch,
Anatomy continues to shock the world.
Yeah. What are you guys eating?
Yes, he's eating horse. It's what he's doing with all the horse meat. Obviously, they send him like a box of horse meat at the same time as sending him the watch to review.
Raw horse meat.
Get this in you, sir. It'll improve the size of your wrists. So, commentary on this.
Just tell me when to get started.
I do like the fact it gives you instructions as to what you're to do with the clasp. You're to lift it.
It's the only part of it I like.
Yeah.
It's the seat belt, right? It's inspired by like an airline seat belt.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyways, that's the only good part.
Airline seat belt, that well-known useful safety device. Does anybody know how there's a very good Billy Connolly joke, if anybody's aware of it, about airplane seatbelts. I refer you to the internet to go and have a look. Okay, let's give it an instant result.
I do like
then,
Mr. Connolly.
And then we'll stop sharing that. So give us your thoughts. Is it a hit? Is it a miss? Or is it a maybe 1, 2, 3, go. Maybe, miss, maybe. So 3 maybes and a miss. Right, let's start with David's maybe. David, why is it a maybe?
Well, I could find a number of details that I like. I really like this picture that shows the lug and the end link and the bracelet design and the this odd twisting fluted bezel. Those are details that I really like. I'm not a fan of the finishing on the lug that much. It looks kind of rough, but at the same time, the geometry of the case, the bracelet, the bezel is just really very cool. Clearly a lot of thought has gone into it. And it shows, so I appreciate that angle very much. I think that's really cool. Overall, some designs and some proportions I'm not that much a fan of, and I haven't even yet looked at the price, which is kind of important. It's $2,500. So yeah, it's a big maybe. I mean, if the whole thing adds up to you and you like it, I would go for it. But personally, it's just not right there for me. So that's why it's a maybe.
Okay, Ripley, why is it a maybe for you?
I like a few of the decisions they've made with it. The ProPilot itself is kind of a underrated model as far as I'm concerned within Oris's catalog. It's a cool watch, contemporary pilot style. Interesting detailing they've done on the bezel. I like that they've kept it here. It just feels a little micro brandy from a design perspective, which I would understand if this was like the first generation of it, but it almost seems to be like they're trying to, that they've been spending too much time with the other brands at Wind Up and have been looking around the halls and gotten a little bit inspired by all the guys having a lot of fun at the smaller companies. So it doesn't feel as quote unquote Oris as this model has in the past, but I do like a lot of what they've done. So it's a maybe. I don't know if this is how I would spend my $2,500, but I'm curious to see the new generation in the metal. It'll probably wear quite nicely.
Yeah, I think you may have hit the nail on the head that they're spending too much time with micro brands and seem to kind of be, absorbing by osmosis micro brand architecture DNA. I just don't know what Oris can do. They just seem to have got themselves into a real funk in terms of where they sit just now. I don't know whether this at $2,500, which does seem quite competitive for an Oris. I want to say that if Oris has not been climbing the hill of ambition in terms of the prices, let's just go to their website briefly and see how usable it is, first of all. I mean, look at this. Aquis, 56 models, 90 diver models, 9 ProPilot, 34 Big Crown, 19 other ProPilots, 3 Atelier models. How did they manage to have 56 models of the Aquis? How many watches do they sell? I mean, $2,500, $3,000. I guess maybe that is their sweet spot.
If you count the different strap options, that's why it's the same blue watch and then some different.
You can have a different color strap. And the ProPilots. This is the ProPilots they're sitting into. Okay. Right, Ariel. Give us the full double barrel. What's wrong with this Oris, or why is it a miss from your point of view?
I'm not going to really take my, I'm not going to rush here. I'm going to take my time and have a lot to say about this.
That's fine. I sit back, get a cup of tea.
Well, right, let's start with the positive stuff. There's a few things. Mm-hmm. First of all, I should be happier about this because this is kind of what I've been telling Oris to do for a while, which is focus on lower price points. We've been giving Oris a hard time for a number of years saying, what are you guys doing? People want to spend about $2,000 to $3,000 with you, and you're like $4,000 to $6,000, and we don't understand that. And so we've been telling this to them for a number of years, and we weren't the only ones. And eventually, I think Oris got the message. But the way they went about having lower prices is kind of amusing. They've kind of undercut themselves, right? They're like, they created their own knockoff product. You know, the ProPilot with the 400 caliber movement, that's really where they want to be selling this case at, right? So the first thing they did is say, oh, for all the people that bought our in-house movement and thought that this case would be exclusive to it, yeah, screw you. So now everyone, like, it cheapens their more expensive watches, but I guess it gives people kind of something they want because those more expensive watches are definitely more popular with people that can't afford it. So that's one weird thing. You keep saying that they're kind of like a micro brand. I think what you're trying to say is it looks cheap. I think this looks like aviate made it, and aviate sells like $300 automatic watches with like identical hands and dials.
I just think that it's kind of collided.
No, it looks cheap. That's what. Let's not lie here. It does not look high end.
Does it?
I was more. I think that is an element to it. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. No, I think that is an element to it. It doesn't, the dial treatment. It doesn't look sloppy, but it's not like overly complex in terms of the detailing on it. But I was thinking more in terms of like kind of color palette and general design ethos. Yeah. But no, I would agree. The dial itself, it doesn't look expensive per se.
I mean,
it's cost cutting. They tried to cut costs to make a cheaper product. I get it. It's just still not the cheap Oris we want.
Didn't they already use this case on the regular Pro Pilots before the Pro Pilot X?
So the Pro Pilot, let's go to the
This was always supposed to be a modern pilot watch. Yeah. This was like they had the big crown, which is kind of their retro pilot, and they said, let's do a modern pilot. That's where the Pro Pilot came from. It was not supposed to be bargain basement ever, but most of the modern ones, they've been putting their higher end in-house caliber 400 movement. I'm just saying this collection should evolve to look nicer, not worse.
Okay, I'm
so
confused.
Anyways, movement is not that exciting. The fit and finishing, as everyone's talking about, is not great. And so I guess in a sort of like accounting sense, it's the Oris that maybe we say we've been wanting, but in an artistic sense, it's anything but that.
Okay.
And it's still expensive. We still don't think it's a good value. We still look at it and be like, yeah, that looks like maybe $700 or $800, but no, not this. Come on. I mean, it's like if you like the Oris name, it doesn't even fit on this. You could take Oris off of this dial, put in some random like word that AI makes, and it'll just still look like a micro brand watch. You know what I mean? There's nothing. I don't know. Oris is trying to make a cheap Oris. No brand should ever sit there and be like, okay, guys, the next product that people are going to be excited about is a cheap version of what we do, huh? People are going to be all about that. Oris isn't sexy enough of a brand to have a tutor of it.
Yeah, so I mean, there's the Oris. And I think we just need to take the brand feel of Death Game to its ultimate conclusion and just go straight. So that's the Oris for $2,500. We'll stop sharing that. And instead we'll go to the Christopher Ward website. So which area of Christopher Ward is most like that Oris? It's probably the 12, is it?
I love how Christopher Ward has a reputation for slightly copying everyone.
Yeah, but the thing is, they do a reasonably good job of it, and they get away with it.
They're still copying everyone.
But they get away with it. I don't really understand why, but currently they're getting away with it.
People keep bringing them up as a reference, so like the reference of the copy brand, which I guess is kind of what they are.
Yeah, so there you go. This is Christopher Ward 12, 850 quid. And there's a site upmarket 12, 1,050.
The 12. How is the 12 a competitor to this? It's not a direct competitor.
Well, is it not? Is it not?
No, it's not pilot style.
Well, in what way is the Oris actually pilot style? It's not really got. It
literally has that in the name.
Pro Pilot.
Just because you put it on the name doesn't mean it's a. They don't. Just because you stick, I could put any name on it. If I put a dive watch,
the watch industry is a fan of putting whatever name they want on things.
Yeah, the pilot dive. So are we saying
Sky?
Are we saying exactly the land dweller? I mean, come on.
Find me a Christopher Ward with pilot the name. Right, I don't take you seriously.
Right, well, that's a good question. Do they have, hey, this is
they sure used to.
Dive, I tell you, they have military, they don't really say they've got a pilot. Maybe that's what's coming out, but military, that's possibly the closest you get. No, and it's ground forces rather than air forces. I love how they're really
trying hard not to step on Bremont territory. They're like, no, that's your territory, gentlemen.
Yeah, anyway, there we go. So... Anything else? Then I thought you had a long tirade about this.
That wasn't long enough for you?
No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine for Oris.
You want more?
No. I'm sure it'll just mean you get a longer email from Oris, so we'll just give them a break.
No, look, I support that they're trying to go in the direction of less expensive. I just don't think that by making a cheap version of what you do, like I can't see that anyone's like, oh my God, finally the Oris I want. Like it doesn't answer anyone's question. It answers the accounting question of can we have lower priced watches? It's just not exciting.
Oris are one of these rare brands. Is there anyone else that does it that goes to both Watches and Wonders and Wind Up? Anybody else in the Watches and Wonders do both those types of shows? Do they need to choose a lane? Do they need to either go, right, we are actually...
Norcane, maybe?
Norcane, yeah, they'll be new at that. And there's an argument to say that Norcane are suffering exactly the same problem. Maybe from a slightly different price point initially. But they're going to need to, where are they undercutting themselves? Where are they making a cheap version of the wild one? Well,
the modest one?
No, the modest one. I think the slightly bashful one. It's like name them after the Seven Dwarfs. My argument for Norcane would be that they are where Oris were as a darling of the watch community, the Oris were 5 years ago. Norcane, I think, are just coming out of that phase and need to really stand on their own 2 feet. I have no idea how many watches they sell or how much money they make, but their watches are much more expensive than Oris's. So let's see. But so Oris,
I don't think on average Norcane, they are. I actually think on average they're probably about the same if you look at the last few years. Yeah.
So anyone else, do they need to choose a lane? Or is it okay to spread yourselves on the high end with your... Where are they next to? Because Oris have a full-size boutique. Do Norcane will just be in the...
Zermatt.
No, but when Norcane are Watches and Wonders, do they have a full-sized...
Yeah, stand? It's like upstairs. It's like,
it's upstairs.
It's kind of next to Bremont.
Yeah, but Oris's was next to Cartier, was it not?
I don't remember the next two. But Oris has been there for many years. They're like an incumbent at the show. Yeah, they're given preferential something.
Yes. So is that wise?
Is it wise?
Does this create a problem? What are you?
It's the least of their problems.
All right, okay, least of their problems, right. Okay, fair enough.
They're like trade show dynamics, not an issue at Oris.
Okay, right. Trade show. I mean, they do give the best swag at trade shows, so that's something to be focused on.
Look,
right.
We've met with Oris for years, being very excited about their product. Absolutely. I like Oris. They know how to make good watches. They just have not figured out, I don't know, the right blend of price and design and competitiveness. They've just got kind of greedy and a little bit arrogant over the last several years. And it's not easy to get out of that. I sympathize with the fact that they want to make more money. They want people to be on their side. And now that they try to listen to the market, they're like, but you guys.
Who owns
That's the
them?
attitude.
Who owns them? Yeah.
The Holstein, the entire community, who knows?
They're owned by a herd of cows, herd of Holstein cows.
The Holstein Bears.
Yeah, Holstein Bears. Right, let's move on. The ultra lightweight Chopard Zagato Lab 1 concept. David, tell us a little bit about this before we give it some judgment.
Yeah, this just in typical Chopard style just landed in the inbox, which is always very cool because clearly a lot of work has gone into this with this tubular chassis kind of construction for the case, which is how cars used to be constructed before this whole unibody nonsense of the last 15, 20 years. So this is, this was inspired by that. It's also extremely lightweight, which is Chopard drifting into lightweight territory quietly and very discreetly. But, we've been seeing an influx of lighter and lighter Chopard watches. I reviewed one that had the same ceramized titanium case and movement plates. So this is what you're looking at. Is not a brass movement, but one in ceramized titanium, which is extremely cool and very, very rare. And this is all in pursuit of lightweight. So this whole watch weighs less than the one that I reviewed without the strap, so it's just, you keep tumbling down in terms of weight. So that's, I think, kind of cool. I look forward to seeing this live in Geneva during Watches and Wonders, hopefully. Of course, you have your Tourbillon, which is COSC certified, which is also a rarity these days. But Chopard puts it through COSC so that it actually has some level of performance. And as you're highlighting now, it's 130,000 Swiss francs, which is a lot of money, but not that a lot for a crazy Tourbillon that exists only in a couple of versions, that is co-branded and co-designed by Zagato and is designed to be ultra lightweight. I mean, if this was an RM, it would be 850,000, not 130,000, right?
Yeah.
Or absolutely. Anyone else, basically.
Or anyone else.
A large sum of money, don't get me wrong, but still, for something that exists in 19 iterations, looks as cool as this, and is engineered and actually made to be super lightweight, not just looks fancy. I think that's a strong package right there.
Absolutely. Okay, so gentlemen, is it a hit? Is it a miss? Or is it maybe 1, 2, 3, go? Hit. Hits all round. Ripley, why is it a hit for you?
I really like when, we think of Chopard as one of the brands that does equally watches and jewelry, and a lot of the Chopard watches are very high end, but I like when they do something a bit more sporty. This is very kind of unexpected. I was surprised when this came in. This is not like what I would think of as like a typical Chopard, even though it plays on a lot of those, similar things we like from the brand's other watches. But I think this is just a cool piece. Even if it's not necessarily your aesthetic cup of tea, you kind of have to appreciate the engineering and just how well they executed the concept in this instance. So I think it's just a cool piece. I'd love to see one in person.
Yeah, and David, am I right in saying they've attached a second hand to the Tourbillon? Is that what they've done?
Yeah, that's normal. I mean, we see that sometimes because in most of the tourbillons are 1 minute tourbillons. So the cage makes a full rotation in a minute. Mm-hmm. So once you put a hand on it, it becomes a second hand. Yeah. Yeah,
but as opposed to just having it so that it shows it's a running second, which you would see because the tourbillon would be going backwards and forwards. Does it need some lume? That would be my question. Ariel, a hit for you, but does it need some lume?
I agree that lume could be nice on there, but I don't know that is a necessity here. For me, I think I love this watch. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool.
What I think is the confusing thing is that the name makes you think it's like an automotive thing, but for me, this is really an architectural thing.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the confusions. Like, I don't see the car stuff, and I get that, and I understand about the frames for the cars and things like that, but this is not this car thing. This is an architectural thing. So I see buildings, I see that type of stuff a lot more.
Yeah.
I did like this concept better a little bit when Hublot did it. I think it was Pininfarina or something like that. But there's what feels to me like an identical Hublot or very Ferrari. It was Ferrari. They did one of those. Yes, this is not sort of the first Zagato thing with Chopard. I think that it takes a lot of confidence to wear this watch, but at the same time, it's not silly. And that's what's interesting about it. It looks a bit wild, but it's not whimsical. Nothing about it is whimsical. It's quite a serious design statement. There, as David said, weight reduction is a huge part of it. It being lightweight, so it's a design statement, but that has a technical foundation. This is the exact type of intellectual high-end horology toys that we like to will into existence because we can convince ourselves there's, I don't know, some type of academic or scientific reason for making it. The price is very fair for what you're getting. Small production, extremely difficult to make case. Yes, it's not like a brand new movement, but it's perfectly competent movement. It's very user-friendly. You have the power reserve on there. It's nice to see the tourbillon. I think any more of a complicated movement would worry me that it would break. And that's a real feeling that I have these days. And other times watches like this would have very complicated mechanisms that you're worrying that, always going to go back to the store. This is a watch that's sort of the right blend of, I think, you can wear it on a daily basis, but looks complicated enough. So I just think this is really, really fantastic.
We're showing a picture for those of you watching on YouTube. I'm showing a picture of them. I love this arrow. I'm not quite sure what it's pointing at and why, but clearly this particular hole is quite relevant as there is an arrow pointing at it.
It's the
on
lucky
a lot
hole.
of movements. It's actually, you will find this on a lot of movements. It's to indicate where you have to let loose the winding stem. So when you are removing when you're removing the movement.
Would you not hope that if you were working on this and you worked for Chopard, you'd already know where that was?
Like when you're working on 130,000 ceramides titanium tourbillon, you're suggesting somebody knows what they're doing?
I'm sorry I broke it. There was no arrow pointing at where I should insert my screwdriver to loosen the winding stem. This is a bit peculiar, but there we go.
No, I think that's friendly engineering. We want to maintain the idea that any watchmaker that knows what they're doing could ostensibly service these things. I think it's a deleterious remark on a movement that only a brand can service it. I don't think consumers want that. I think the idea that a trained person can work on it means that it's a well-engineered movement.
And you don't think the fact that that's the screw that's next to the winding stem makes you think, oh, that must be the screw I unwind to the winding stem?
If you put your screwdriver in the wrong hole, you can cause some real damage. So,
fair enough. It's again, a cool arrow.
I love it. If that's your worst problem, it's a small, tiny arrow imprinted on a movement. You have no issues with this composition.
I want it to say something. I want it to go, do the old Bell and Ross of do not unscrew this screw.
So you want more branding. You don't want them to just merely call attention that, hey, this is it. You want it just like, let's emblazon in orange, press here.
I want it to say under
0.2
Call the guys at Grubel Force and have them write a little message that we can explain what this is.
Yeah, exactly. What I want is underneath this arrow, I want it to say this one, and then I want arrows pointing at all the other holes that say not this one, and then just that, it says this one and everyone else. So arrows everywhere, and just under that arrow it says this one. This is the one you need. This is the arrow you're looking for. Feel the constant force. Anyway, right.
I still think it's funny if it's the LUC hole.
Your lucky hole, right? Okay. On that note, David, you love this, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Let's stop that and go finally to our final watch this week, which is, where's it gone? This from Ripley. Ripley, you can explain to us the Henri Grandjean and C Magician watch showcasing a mysterious triple-axis tourbillon.
Did you say magician?
And the magician.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Magician.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm reading it correctly.
Proceed.
It's not the. Yeah, that's fine. Proceed.
It's the magician. It's a magician with the mysterious.
Okay.
So Henri Grandjean is a famous name from horology. Did a lot of work with marine chronometers. Helped establish the observatories and watchmaking schools. Not a brand that has been around that we've been, that has been producing watches in the last 100 years, but a famous name from horology nonetheless. So this is, you could say, a revival of the name, although it's really not extending the brand's design language in any way. It's a contemporary brand that aims to extend the founder's spirit of the man Henri Grandjean, not the Crockett watch brand. So it's basically celebrating a well-known watchmaker from history, and they're coming out with this watch, which is going to be available in 6 configurations. They start in titanium. There's a couple in gold, white gold or rose gold. You get engraved versions. You get one with diamonds. But the big party piece thing of this is the mysterious triple axis floating tourbillon. So you get a triple axis tourbillon. So 3 different axes beating at 3 different speeds. But where you get the mystery part is it's mounted using a system of sapphire discs like certain Cartier watches. So you get this nice little sphere gyrating at 3 different ways that appears to float within an aperture in the case.
Okay.
And then of course you get the white gold one with and then you get white gold with the fully engraved thing. So the prices start at $430,000 US for the titanium one and go, much up from there depending on what execution you want. But it's quite impressive. I'm very much looking forward to seeing these in person.
Okay, so let's give it a quick rating. Is it a hit, a miss, or maybe 1, 2, 3, go? I think it's a hit. Yeah, it's going to be a hit. Of course it is. Look at it. Look at the state of it. Right, David, give us your thoughts. Why is it a hit for you?
It's just awesome. I think it's fantastic that these watches still come to be. Every once in a while we see, something out of this. It's got some diamonds on it. It's got some diamonds and some pretty
it.
Diamonds. That's where it won. I mean, I don't care about the tourbillons.
Tractor friendly.
Very cool. I love it.
Good. I do notice that there is a flaw, however, which is that Henri Grandjean does not appear. John, in a massive flaw and a complete letdown to the system, Henri is not on our picker wheel of death.
No, they just got revived. They've just come back after the hiatus.
Henri.
No. We don't need that in there. They've just been revived. I think
they just got revived. The watches haven't yet been delivered. They've just come back after 100 years.
So they've had so the Ariel, they're an example of what we mean by kill a brand so as you can bring it back. So there's a working example.
I will say this, what a way to make your emergence. It's not, this is a pretty baller piece. Even in the dial that where it says the hour markers, there's the date is on that little disc in there, and above it's a day and night indicator. This is just a pretty epic piece. And for this to be the first new foot forward, well done. This is impressive.
Yeah. So who has revived them? Do we know who is Henri Grandjean? Rolex?
Was it Henri or was it Grand or was it Jean? Who was it?
Who's the money behind this? Do we know?
I don't know if it has anything to do with any of those entities.
Okay, so we've no idea who we're paying our money to. For all we know, it could be. It's just some shady people in Geneva.
Look, I think they have 2 of the 3 axes working at this point. Let's hope for them to make a complete product. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, love it.
I know what brand is eagerly awaiting the Russian market to open up again. That's all I'm saying.
Which one are you having? Because there's varieties of this. So, am I right in saying
much filigree?
There's a baguette diamond. Yeah.
I'd be torn between the baguette diamond and the rose gold engraved.
Filigree.
There's the rose gold. And
you can get a white gold engraved one as well without the diamonds. But I mean, if you're going to go for it, why not?
Right. Okay. So we think that the one they should remove from their catalog is this one, the white gold.
No,
that's not white. That's also got diamonds on it.
No, the one they should remove is the titanium one, which they barely. I don't think they even included a nice photo of it. It's quite plain. It's almost sporty relative to the others, but that's more if you're just interested in the movement. But when they've gone so hard on the case like this,
it's practically a Purnell.
Yeah.
Right, well, let's see. Okay, so we're on their website now. In concluding our show this week, discover the story behind the brand. This
is new, all new, by the way. When I was first putting this article together, they did not have a website.
Right. So there we go.
It's how we talk about old watchmakers.
Yeah, what I want to know is, it tells us who they used to be. Does it tell us which Russian oligarch owns them now?
Need a watch to trade your yacht for?
Limited, contact us. Oh, please be a chat.
Is there too hard to log around?
Please be a chat bot somewhere.
There's the boat.
There's the boat. Send us a message. Oh, well.
Send us a boat.
Shall we? Who owns you? There
Who's your daddy?
Who's Slight subject, general inquiry. Who is
Ask them about how big their jean sizes are.
Daddy. First name, Ariel. Second name, Adams.
Okay.
Email.
I have a reputation that means something to somebody.
Preferred contact method.
No, you have to provide the email.
Okay.
They do not take the question seriously. Podcast at aBlogtoWatch.
You know what I'm wondering? How much is what what you're doing actually happen when there's some jerk at a website? It's like, oh, I know somebody in the watch industry. I'll pretend it's them. I have a feeling this happens more than we'd like to admit.
Yes, I have in the industry I work on, I have a colleague who owns they're both a competitor and someone we collaborate with, and he has a habit, and I return the favor from now and then. You know, when you get a cold call from someone and it's like, no way in a million years am I buying something off you, but I do know someone who would be interested in your services, so give them his email address and phone number. So he got me this week with someone that wanted to sell drug testing kits. So yeah, maybe we should start putting.
Is that like foisting?
Foisting?
For animals or for humans?
For humans.
Oh.
Animals.
I mean, I don't know.
You get drug testing kits for animals as well, yeah.
Yeah, make sure that
foisting for animals? I didn't know that was the thing.
Foisting in the milk or
foisting? There was a whole Curb Your Enthusiasm episode about it, I believe.
Oh, I've never really watched that. Never got into that.
Well, I mean, there's other places to learn the word.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll you can educate me later.
It basically means you someone who's kind of a problem, you like redirect the problem person to someone else.
Oh, right. Okay.
You're like, don't annoy me, annoy that person.
Go. Okay, excellent. Well, I'm just, yeah. So I'm just going to go into all these watch brands now and express that he's interested in buying a £430,000 watch or whatever it is. We'll take it there. Grand. Right. That is our show for this week. Hopefully the chaos was halfway between what it normally is and what it was when I wasn't here. So maybe
at least we didn't talk about haggis.
No haggis. See, you ruined it now.
There's still time.
Still time.
Oh, gosh.
A few seconds left. Right. No. Thank you all very much for listening. We'll see you all again next week. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Bye,
everyone.